Another day in the NBA, and of course, we're ready here on the Splash Play NBA channel to do what we always do, which is compare my projections to some of the industry leaders out there like Stokastic, like our friends at Unabated. At the halfway point of the show, about 4:30 Eastern time, we're also going to hop over to Unabated, see what the best bets are according to their very premium data. We'll then sim some DFS lineups with Stokastic. By in this video, you'll know all my Splash Plays, today's must plays for today's NBA slate. Let's get into it. I've been a busy day today. Did the lull stream with my pal Pete Overzet, and of course Brick too. Two guys I mentioned on that show I love pretty much as anybody in this industry. Check that stream out too later on. But for now, we got to do some work here, and hopefully, if I get any new viewers from that stream, hopefully I won't embarrass myself like I usually do here on stream. But I had a great day in DFS yesterday. So maybe good day to come in here for some new promo. Your Q tag tweet for the day, of course, courtesy of our friends at Underdog. Questionable tags for Scotty Barnes, Anthony Simons, Gershon Yabusele, Duncan Robinson, Jonathan Kuminga. Not those big ones today, but still ones that matter a lot, especially the Barnes one. Probable tags for LeBron, Giannis, D'Angelo Russell. Nets also going to be down. Cam Johnson going to be down a bunch of different players. Noah Clowney out for the year. A little bit of a depleted squad, but the Nets not playing anybody good, so it might not matter that much. Doubtful tag for Jeremy Grant, which has been the case for every day, waiting for that end of season. Oh, he's not going to play anymore tag we got for Tyrese Maxey today, but it hasn't come up yet. Let's dig into my data here. Shout out to the chat. We got our guy Chunk here. Where's the Jeff Dunham of DFS? I am more than my puppets. Nice day to play some exciting White Shore. Of course, I love you guys as well. Shout out Menelik here. Appreciate his kind words always. Appreciate CJ the Great. Won your DK league last night. That's awesome. Hope it was a good tournament for you. $50 on 3. All right, there you go. That's not bad. That's a nice little ROI for you. What would that be? That wouldn't be quite 10x, but no, wait, it wouldn't be quite 100x. Math is hard doing it on the fly like that. Shout to Chris. Glad to hear it. Shout out to you. All you guys are having success here. I felt like I had a real shot at taking something down. As we talked about yesterday, Denver, San Antonio is a really important thing. And as I mentioned as well, just switching to whatever guys were playing there is what mattered. Russell Westbrook, Jalen Pickett also mattered a ton. DeAndre Jordan mattered a ton. So I hope that worked out for you guys yesterday. I feel like I did nail the slate. And also, I'm loving how my projection tweaks have been working as well, at least for one day so far. But top projected players for today. Giannis is number one, $12,100 salary. I could not avoid him in the semi-round before the show, even though my projection is about 2.5 fantasy points lower on Stokastics right now. 58% of the ownership right now for the field. I still got him in 68% of my lineups with that less aggressive projection. So Giannis, very easy to get him. He's also playing Philadelphia today. The total from Milwaukee in this game, where are they at? 120.3 implied points for Milwaukee, so a pretty juicy total for them compared to their season-long average or rolling season average, I guess would be the better way to say that. About 115 points per game. So for Milwaukee, you get why Giannis will come up a lot. He's certainly looking like a good play, but when you see that much ownership for one pay-up option, maybe Luka Doncic could beat him out, maybe LeBron could beat him out, maybe Banchero could beat him out. Definitely logical to think that way with so much ownership congregating on Giannis today. We got Luka Doncic at number 2, 17% ownership for the field. I'm only getting him at 4%. Not a great projection for Luka for me, about 5 fantasy points lower. What I did for the Lakers is give them basically all the rates they have. Court time without Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell. I guess I also took off Max Christie too, just try to isolate the court time these Lakers were all sharing together. As a result, you get a little bit more LeBron because the rates have been higher for him because he's played a good amount of games in the past with those guys out before Luka got there. And also when Luka was hurt too, when they first got the trade, that's a part of things that are inflating LeBron's rates a little bit, but I don't want to isolate Luka's rates any more than I already have. I feel like I can get to him if I want to, but I've been fading Luka more often than not on slates, and I'm okay with that. For you guys out there, though, it is definitely a thing in my projections where I'm taking his entire Lakers rates, basically, and he hasn't been quite as efficient as a Laker overall in terms of the usage, in terms of the assist rate. Definitely spikes more when LeBron's not out there, but when LeBron's out there, he and LeBron are basically the same player to me, and I think that shows in the projections today. LeBron, 48.9 fantasy points, though, so a little bit behind Luka in terms of the projection, about 3.5 fantasy points lower. That said, with a $10,100 price tag compared to Luka's price tag just shy of $12,000, a little bit easier to get to LeBron. So 22% of the field's getting to LeBron compared to that 17% for Luka. For me, though, I'm getting a lot more LeBron, 34% in my top 150 lineups compared to the field's 4% for Luka Doncic right now. Paolo Banchero, $9,900 for him. The matchup today for Orlando. looking decent with their team total today. Well, they're playing Washington. Also 114 implied points for Orlando, which is a little bit higher to what they're normally compared to what they're normally getting here. We have seen the spot before. I think a couple weeks ago, Banchero was pretty chalky against Washington. Ended up being a thing where Banchero and Franz, both perfectly credible plays doing similar things. Would say it's the case again here today. Wagner a little bit cheaper at 8,800, Banchero at 9,900, and I'm getting Franz more today. 24% of my top of 50 at Franz. It's a 6% for Banchero, but if I have lineups without Franz, I would probably boost Banchero more. So I always talk about these guys. Basically, if one hits, the other one's less likely to hit. It's possible they both could hit together, but in a game against Washington where not going to have Jordan Poole out there, missing a lot of key players, could maybe keep that game competitive. I don't know that I want to play both Banchero and Wagner, so I'd be more inclined to give a boost to Banchero and lineups without Wagner, boost to Wagner and lineups without Banchero. Try to treat it that way. Quentin Grimes. Tonight's the night that Quentin Grimes was up 50 burger or 60 burger. I would take a 50 fantasy point play at this point. I'll still get him in 5% of my lineups. Grimes, as we talked about, gets the biggest rate boost overall in the Sixers without the various players that are not going to be in. Today, that includes basically everybody. You're also losing for Philadelphia. Some guys who have had more usage lately. Guys like Jeff Doughton have no more games left. I think Bagley's also out of the rotation today. Pete Wheeler might be close to being out of the rotation. I'm not sure how that goes. There might be a few more inactives for Philadelphia than even have the projection set right now. At his salary coming down a little bit, 9,100. Quentin Grimes has been reliably putting up, well, not reliably, but last game put up 40 fantasy points. For the most part, besides I think the game before that, he's still putting up like 40, 45-ish fantasy points. I'm okay taking shots at Grimes, not a priority stand. I do have him as being a 5x value on the slate as a $9,100 salary. Tyler Hero, getting him a lot today. 47% of my lineups have Tyler Hero, which I don't love this split. I would say right away, Quentin Grimes is seeming like a very obvious pivot for me to Tyler Hero. So I feel like I should be getting at least an even amount of Grimes here. That's a Stokastic sim for you because they don't want you playing Grimes. I'm not getting as much in the player pool. So I see why it would happen. For Tyler Hero, though, 10% of the field will be playing him. I'm getting him in a lot of lineups today. But I think the price tag works well at shooting guard with Grimes and Hero. If Hero's coming up this much, I think Grimes should be, for me, probably about 20% owned. Maybe shave some of that off Hero and give it right to Grimes. But I like that build. I think potentially with one of these guys at shooting guard, or if I'm not playing Giannis, are you playing both of them? So Tyler Hero coming up a lot for me. 47% of my top 150. Fields a 10, but I think it should be flatter between him and Grimes, given the salaries and very close projections. I talked about Franz already. Anthony Edwards not really coming up for me at 9,800. Obviously, in any competitive game, you can hit a ceiling for Minnesota. Minnesota today playing Brooklyn, though. Down pace spot. Some decent wings to at least make it uncomfortable for him or not, it's not ever really easy street against Brooklyn, even though it feels like it should be. You are down enough guys, or maybe it'll be a different defense overall, but they are about league average generally. So not crazy about Ant. It does feel like low ownership for him, though, if Brooklyn hangs in games, and they sometimes do. So I won't poo-poo Anthony Edwards entirely at 9,800, but he doesn't feel like a play for me to get naturally. Got him in less than 1% of my top 150 lineups. Denny Avdia, not getting him as much today as well. Gave him the rate boost that he gets with Scoot Henderson out, with Jeremy Grant out, with DeAndre Ayton out. With those guys all off the court, we have Avdia averaging about 1.22 fantasy points per minute, 24% usage, 15% rebound rate, 21% assist rate. If you get Anthony Simons out is where we see Avdia, I think, become more of a must play. I'm not quite with this 34% field ownership. I got him at 19%. I usually have Avdia better projected than Stokastic does, so they were looking for Simons to be out to really want to go wheels up for Avdia. But still a good play to me. I wouldn't begrudge you being with the field. But I've gotten Avdia in a lot of slates where he's been an outlier player. I don't think he hasn't been one of my guys that I'm like constantly touting on stream, like a Grimes, like a Miles Bridges previously. But he is a guy to me that when you have these guys, less guys in rotation rather, for Portland, he does stand out more. If you get Simons out as well, Shaedon Sharp's going to look a lot better. The Simons Q tag right now, I think, is quietly more important than some more important players in the slate who have a Q tag as well. Steph Curry, outlier day versus Memphis recently rather. Still not a player for me to get a ton of. 4% for me, about 3% for the field. Projection for me is a little higher than Stokastic, 42.1 compared to their 41. But again, there's better values here. It does stand out, though, so far. Grimes not very owned. Anthony Edwards not very owned. Steph Curry not very owned. Given that you have decent chalkiness here for Giannis, good ownership going to Luka, LeBron, even Banchero and Franz picking up about 20%. It feels like it'd be logical to get a little bit more of these guys at less ownership, especially if you're playing a 150 set. Just kind of ignore the projection. Maybe get some more of Grimes, Edwards, Steph Curry, Bam as well. I think that would be pretty logical given the ownership right now. Bam Adebayo, 6% for the field. I got 5. He went nuts the other day with Hero looking a lot chalkier. That's good. That's just DFS for you. If you see a popular player playing his teammate who has good usage, another way to get leverage on them or get different by playing the both of them. So not a Bam day for me, but given that I'm getting a lot of Hero, certainly boosting Bam would not be a crazy thing to do. Let's sort by value now. We'll get a read on my top values currently. And Stokastic hasn't updated since 11:30, so I had to work some minutes around for Washington in particular. I was Jordan Poole out, so it's one thing to keep in mind as we go through some of the values right here. We got Kyle Anderson looking like a decent value. Miami likely going to be, they are confirmed to be down Wiggins again, down some of the bodies. They've been down like Jovic as well for a while. Kyle Anderson's minutes have been okay. Actually would like to see last game for Miami here because I did not get a chance to check this before the show. So they played yesterday, and the game versus Boston, he played 24 minutes. So decent run out of minutes here. Feel like you wouldn't put him out there unless you really want to play him because Boston could easily kind of hunt him and make it hard on him. So I guess I get the Kyle Anderson play. Does feel a little bit like Paul Reed to me yesterday, where we talked about just the ceiling not being that high. Obviously, slate changed a good amount with the Denver guys all being ruled out that you probably shouldn't have played much Paul Reed by the end of the slate anyway, with that being the last game on the slate. The point being here is like Kyle Anderson, I don't see him getting a ton more minutes. He can be productive enough if a lineup works well and everything else hits. If he gives you 25 fantasy points, that might be enough for you to win a slate. But I don't think he's worth a lot more ownership. Like definitely not worth as much ownership as I got. My top 150 here, 37% for me. Fields at 15. I don't want to be that exposed to Kyle Anderson when I put in my final lineups. Jacoby Walter would look a lot better if you do get Scotty Barnes out, but the minutes for him should be secure no matter what. Playing high 20 minutes lately with the Raptors in tank mode, even though they could have gotten a play-in spot. They don't care. They don't want one. 29% for the field, Jacoby Walter. I'm going to get 57. I would feel a lot better about Jacoby Walter than I would at Kyle Anderson. Unless Anderson, some more guys get ruled out, he picks up a surprise start. I would just take Jacoby Walter and pay more money to get there as one of your premier values right now. JT Thor getting more minutes lately, theoretically gains a little bit more minutes as well from not having Rashawn Holmes in. The Holmes has not really been in the rotation too much lately. You now have Vukovic playing some 4. He might play some backup 5 more. That could open up things for JT Thor. Let's look at Washington real fast because I would like to have a better read on what they did yesterday here. Talk through it with you guys. So Vukovic yesterday played... No, so he was back to playing just backup Asar yesterday. Well, that's stupid. Rashawn Holmes played a little bit alongside Vukovic. Thor and Vukovic played together here for a while. So, and including the second half, they played entirely the second half together. On a back-to-back for Sar, maybe you get a lot of these guys playing together. So I wouldn't be opposed to playing Thor with Vukovic. Thor, though, at a 3K minimum salary, not guaranteed a ton of run out here, but 3K minimum, 25 minutes projection. I think he looks like an okay value here. And I would also feel better about him, candidly, than Kyle Anderson, too. 11% for the field. I'm getting Thor at 14. Jonathan Mobo, again, the values here, getting a lot of ownership to all these top value plays right now. Jonathan Mobo, 35%, Fields at 25. Okay play for me here. I don't feel fantastic about it, but Pirtle's out, so it does help out a little bit. These guys today, and I think this is a fair way to sum it up, not the most elegant way of saying it or eloquent. The value is a pile of wet farts today. It's not great feeling value. Like the Denver value to me, whatever is going to be opened up by San Antonio, Denver, like I knew you had to be there. Today, it's like guys who are in the rotation, not great. I mean, Vukovic is on the thumbnail because I was like, he seems like he'll be a top value no matter what. But he's at like 4,400 and he's put up high 30s games lately, so he could do it again. But I don't feel great about any of the value. But right now it's Mobo, Vukovic, Shed with Quickly being out, though he can get his minutes jerked around a little bit as well. These are the value guys you have as of right now. So unless we get some more Q-tag guys rolled out, it's just not looking that great for the value. Quentin Post, 6% for me. Fields at 4%. Not really a big stand there, but he's one of the lesser owned values amidst all these guys. Lonnie Walker, 31% for me, 20% for the field. Projected play about 29 minutes today at this point. Sixers rotation is down enough, guys. Especially if we are done of games with Doughton, done of games with Bagley. That could open up a few more minutes as well, just theoretically, for Lonnie Walker. But no matter what, he's getting about 28 0.9 minutes of the projection. It's enough to get Lonnie Walker today at 4,700 on a slate where the value is not really that great. Jamison Battle with Barnes in looks okay. He's picked up a start lately for Raptors. Not a great producer. Doesn't help out that he has RJ Barrett, and if Barnes is in as well, those are two guys that just basically make Jamison Battle do nothing besides shoot corner threes out there. But he will play enough minutes. So 27-minute projection, only 21 fantasy point projection, kind of says it all for what he is as a play. Ryan Rollins went nuts last time for Milwaukee. Played a lot of minutes in that game. Also put up, I think, 40 fantasy points in that spot. Rollins played 31 minutes here. Kevin Porter Jr. played all the backup minutes, 17.3. Same situation for Rollins. If he plays terribly, you can see Kevin Porter Jr. take some more minutes away. As it is right now, though, Rollins earning more minutes, playing good defense as well. I think that he is worth the ownership here. I'm getting him at 29% fields at 18. He's a lot more of a real player than pretty much everybody else here besides Tristan Vukovic. Rollins is good enough. He's played well without Lillard all year for the most part. The issue has really been the minutes haven't been reliable for him, especially since Kevin Porter Jr. came in. But he's now kind of icing Kevin Porter Jr. So with Rollins here, getting more in the field of him feels okay. Lines without Rollins, considering Porter Jr. more, I think still a logical thing to do because any given game you could close over Rollins, steal 5 to 10 minutes away, depending on how it goes. So, but Rollins is closing more, so it's worth keeping an eye on and playing him. And Colby Jones, I expect him to be the big winner minutes-wise from Jordan Poole being out. He's off the injury report for today. For Colby Jones, he's not been a great producer overall. In fact, he's been only putting up 0.81 fantasy points per minute. I'd have him for about 0.8 today. He doesn't stand out to me as a great play, but he has spiked before, projected by me to play about 28 minutes. We'll see what Stokastic has later, but I think Colby Jones, an okay value play to have today, especially if he picks up the start. So that's what the value metrics look like right now. Of course, we're going to go game by game here, guys. Before we do that, though, you guys know I have a quick ask for you. Please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. It all goes a long way for me here. Again, I did a stream today talking about how to survive, how to make some money as an independent creator. That's what I try to do here every day, and your engagements go a long way. Subscribing down below, hitting the like button, leaving a comment because I got to fight that YouTube algorithm every day. Of course, it's NBA every Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. For the next week. 10 days, I guess. And then after that, we're going to be doing some NBA playoff stuff, some MLB stuff on a regular basis. So no matter what, I'm going to show up here ready to do the work with good data in hand, showing you some of the best premium tools out there along the way, the sim products and all that. So join on board here, show some love if you can, and also join down below to get access to our Discord if you want to hop in there and chop it up with me. And of course, Unabated, 20% off, link down below. They've been a great partner here. We'll show you guys some bets coming up there in about 10 minutes. And Stokastic, all your DFS stuff, 15% off, data, lineups, Sims tools, whatever you want on there. Get a 15% off link in the description, no matter what sport. All right, Orlando, 113.8 implied points. Washington, 98.8. Bad total here for Washington with Jordan Poole out. Not really a surprise. A tough defense overall. Archive the April 1st show for my reel. I mean, I guess I should make a playlist of classic splash play NBA shows. And I guess that would be one of them because really everything else is just me gambling here. And it's good for about 3 hours. But I appreciate that kind words on that. Paolo Banchero. So lower on him, higher on Franz Wagner. Trying to flatten these guys out more. When you don't get Franz, try to get Banchero. They're going to have a similar ceiling in the spot versus Washington. Obviously, Banchero better projected here. I have him at 45.3, Franz at 42.8. But you're saving $1,100 going to Franz, a better value metric. So these guys are both solid plays today. You wish Cole Anthony were out, though, because that really is a big thing that makes them easier to project for a high median outcome and a high ceiling. But Cole Anthony's in, so it doesn't matter. Wendell Carter looking okay. 12% of the fields there. I'm getting 6. Really not crazy about Wendell Carter, but centers versus Washington. Anybody who accrues peripherals versus Washington, never a bad thing to get to. We saw that last game out for DeMar DeRozan versus Washington. He just racked up a bunch of stats. Sabonis too, to a lesser extent. I don't think quite got the triple-double, but was closer to triple-double. Just easy to get a little bit of everything versus Washington, so it makes sense why those guys pick up some more projection and some more ownership today. Washington on their side, with Poole out, with Middleton out, with Keyshawn George out, Bilal Coulibaly out, guys that have already been out. It looks a little bit of a shorter rotation here, but still not really a big winner because Marcus Smart is in, Colby Jones is in, Alex Sarr is in. You're just not really squeezing minutes enough here to love it. Combine that with a shitty total for Washington with 99 points going against a tough Orlando defense. A lot of ownership to these guys. Bub Carrington's been the best player. I'm okay getting 27% of him. Fields at 20. Alex Sarr, I'm getting 9% fields at 13. Not a big anti-stand there, but I'm okay. 10 to 15% Sarr feels fine, given that he does have some theoretical upside, but he's not closing very many games lately. Justin Champagny, the other Champagny here, played well yesterday. Both Champagnys, I think, actually made a winning lineup, or at least could have. Champagny here looks okay. Think he is a guy who should be able to produce in every category pretty well with Poole being off. Minutes should be secure for him as well, playing some, frankly, 2, 3, 4. He plays a little bit of everything. So Champagny here, not a great producer, not a great usage guy in terms of the scoring metrics, but adds in everything. So I like him in the spot. But maybe against Orlando, maybe more downside than usual. But it's only 7% of the field's playing him. I'm okay getting 18%. AJ Johnson, I don't get a lot of here. He really hasn't played very well in Washington in any given game. The rates don't support playing him either, even with everybody off the court for Washington. So for AJ Johnson, you can go here at 5,100. He's not being played a ton. I'd rather take Champagny, though. And Tristan Vukovic, as we talked about here, should be playing some backup 5, some 4, potentially alongside Sarr, though he did not play that yesterday for Washington. So changes game to game. I really don't know what you get here. You have more big men for Orlando overall. So I think Vukovic gets a good amount of run here. I like him as a value play. 37% of my top 150 lineups have him right now. Fields at 24%. And JT Thor, minimum salary. He's your only minimum salary guy that's like actually playable. He's not a great producer at only 0.76 fantasy points per minute, but he's a big, so he can knock down some shots from deep as well. Maybe add a few rebounds, blocks. Things are lying right for him. And if they really don't play Sarr a lot in the back-to-back, look even better for JT Thor. Blowout would also be great for JT Thor. All right, we got Milwaukee here, 120.3 implied points. As we talked about earlier, very high total for Milwaukee. Giannis has not been a big rate winner overall, with Lillard being out, with Middleton being out, with Portis being out. He starts to defer to other guys more with those guys off the court. But that said, I'm now not penalizing him in his rates for that. So as a result, I'm not dropping his projection as much as I might have in previous times out. Basically, his projection right now is based off the rates he's had the entire season, but it's worth pointing out to me that he does generally less usage, less rebounding, less assists when you take all the key other bucks off the court. Because I guess, I don't know, just have to allow other guys to try to do something to give them some usefulness. It's a little bit odd how it happens, but Giannis has not been a ball dominant player as much when you take Lillard off the court as well with the guys who are no longer available for the Bucks. Kuzma, I don't get very much of here, but soft spot versus Philadelphia on paper. Definitely not a high-paced matchup, but Philadelphia's defense, not great, even though they do continue to try more than you would think for a team that's been phoning it in for basically months now. But Kuzma, I don't get very much. He is above 50% true shooting finally. Hooray for him. You can play Kuzma if you want, but I won't. Only 4% of my top 150 have him. Brook Lopez, 20% for me, so about 3x the field. Again, if Giannis is going to be this highly owned, trying to get some more bucks, even Kuzma would be logical. Ryan Rollins, I'm getting almost 30% of, fields at 18. As we talked about, he's closing. He's playing well. Kevin Porter Jr. still looms, though, to take minutes away in any given spot. Porter Jr., about $300 cheaper, same position as well. So really, to me, if you're going to get Ryan Rollins, just giving half that ownership away to Ryan Rollins, that's not Ryan Rollins, rather making that Kevin Porter Jr. to be logical. These guys are very similar plays right now. It's just been that Rollins has been earning more trust, it seems. But I don't know if he earns more trust forever. Kevin Porter Jr. can get hot off the bench and earn more minutes. That's something that Rollins really doesn't have the luxury of. He'll earn minutes if he plays well, knocks down some threes, plays good defense. But Kevin Porter Jr., if he puts up like 20 off the bench, he might just close no matter what. These other guys here, Torian Prince coming in a little bit, AJ Green coming in a little bit. Not really priority plays, but on a slate with shitty value. These guys are projectable, decent value plays. Philadelphia on their side, I think it's worth getting some Quentin Grimes, that price tag coming down. He still keeps getting enough shots up. Usage is high enough for him. The rates are still at about 33%. Court time without the various Sixers who aren't available. He's averaging about 1.35 fantasy points a minute as well in court time without the various Sixers, again, who are not playing today. I still like Grimes here. Again, he's not a priority play for me. I imagine the most I'll get him is like 25% today. But, more than 1%, I think he's just not being projected correctly here. The 34 projection from Stokastic is just, I would say, just them asleep at the wheel and not thinking he deserves a boost. In reality, he's been a completely different player for this Philadelphia team. He gets shots up. To me, I think that Grimes is still in play, even though he shouldn't be a chalk play by any stretch. Justin Edwards, not really getting there. Price tag's too high for Grimes being in. Yabusele, not really getting there. Lonnie Walker looking like a good value if he's going to play about 29 minutes, but everybody else here kind of appropriately priced. And if you have Yabu in, Adem Bona doesn't look that good. Really, even when this team was shorthanded the other day, nobody looked that good to me besides Grimes being okay. I think that Philadelphia at this point is not a team you love the price tags of because they've been doing this for weeks now, as I mentioned, which is not having real players on the team. Portland, that Q-Tag and Anthony Simons would help out a little bit here to make me get to these projections more. Denny Avdia, I'm low on. I'm really never low on Avdia, so I don't love seeing only 19% sim exposure. Fields at 34. Same thing for Shaden Sharp, only 9%. Fields at 16. Anthony Simons, I'm always a little bit low on. He just hasn't been a great enough player this year, and my projections weight the current season more. But Simons, if he plays, Fields going to be there 25%. That feels a little bit rich to me. I'm not going to boost it, though. I probably wouldn't get Simons no matter what. I think Simon's more valuable if he were less owned and Avdia was chalk, but instead these guys are both looking like mega chalk, so that makes Shaden Sharp look the most appealing. Donovan Clingan, not there either. I'm just not sure what they're getting projection-wise here, to be honest, against Toronto. Toronto, a little bit of a pace up, mid-tier defense, a little bit worse than league average, but not like a great spot overall. And with Toronto not really trying, I don't think you see the total get that high. Spags to do the puppet thing only on specific days. I just do it whenever the vibe hits. I honestly don't do it that often on the channel, but that was an April Fool's special. If people want more puppet on the channel, I guess, but I don't know. It's weird. I got like more likes than usual on that video, but also more dislikes than usual. So the puppet's here. I don't know what to do with the puppet, to be honest. Should I do more with the puppet? Should I do less? Hard to say. Toronto, 109.8 implied points. A lot of ownership coming to Toronto. 36% for Jamal Shed, no Emmanuel Quickly. Shed, though, can easily give minutes up to anybody else. We've seen before him lose minutes to Garrett Temple at point guard. Doesn't make me feel the best. Let's look at Toronto's rotation from last game real fast here. We're going to get to Unabated in a moment as well, but want to get through the game by game here. So last game with Quickly in, Shed played all the backup point guard minutes until the end when they took him out and brought in AJ Lawson, Cole Swider, Jared Roden. So basically one of Lawson or Roden took over. Roden's a Q-Tag right now, I believe, at least the last that I looked at the NBA injury report. So I would worry about Shed losing minutes to those guys. If they're both in, Lawson and Roden can both play point guard, and they very much have no interest in playing Shed over those guys because those guys theoretically have some future with the team, and Shed's just kind of a dude. I don't love chalky Jamal Shed. You want to be with the field on it like I am right now. It's okay. But I'm not sold that he's actually a good play at this point, having seen him get jerked around in the same situation before. If you get Barnes out, though, it might get unavoidable, I think, at the projection-wise at that point. Orlando Robinson, I'm getting more than the field of 22%. Fields at 15. Jacoby Walters, the big stand here, though. Played a ton of minutes whenever you get one of Quickly, Barnes, or Barrett out. It's a little bit easier for him when one of Barnes or Barrett is out, though, because those guys are wings. Quickly being a point guard, I'm not sure it helps out Jacoby Walters as much as it should. But he is somebody that could also take minutes away, I think, from Shed because he can bring the ball up and initiate the offense. So Jacoby Walters, I feel okay about his value. As I mentioned, right now, I think he is the best value to me on the slate, besides maybe one or two other guys. Jonathan Mobo, 35% for me. Fields about 25%. Mobo benefiting from no Jakob Poeltl. Minutes have been okay for him, but still not a player I'm dying to get to. He did play last time out 31 minutes, including playing the blowout. So I guess that's maybe a little bit of a sales pitch for him, that even if the game gets out of hand, you get minutes from Mobo no matter what. Moshe Agbaji, not really there. He's getting treated like he's one of the stars, even though he sucks. So he's like kind of in no man's land at 3,900. Jamison Battle, if you get Barnes out, I could consider playing him, but I don't really like Battle very much. That's the game where all the guys are out. It's a little bit tough for this one. For Toronto with that total, that is. The chats here. Puppet is huge among us autistics. Puppet is like having Andrew Dice Lindquist hosting. More Puppet, more Puppet. All right. I don't know, like I need like a specific thing for the Puppet to do. And I don't know if a daily video would be it either, but I'm open to ideas in the Discord. Please let me know how to maximize the Puppet at this point. Because clearly you guys enjoy the Puppet. I just don't know if it actually converts anything for me or gets me more views. And that's sort of the push-pull here. Minnesota, 114.3 implied points. I got nobody here, so we could save time. Pace down, not a tough defense. Again, Brooklyn basically league average, a little bit worse than that. Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, probably the only real plays you want here. Rudy Gobert, maybe cleaning up a little bit more. But I really don't play much Minnesota lately, so I can't really give a big cosign on that. Brooklyn, Getting a little bit more of D'Angelo Russell here with me having a 32-point projection on him. Does get a pretty big boost from having all the various nets not available. Should have more usage, should have more assist upside. Everybody else here, I'm not really sold on. Drew Timme, again, not playable. You have Nick Claxton in, but he is getting a little bit more clear runway with Clowney and Sharp sideline probably for the rest of the year. Yeah, I don't really feel great about Brooklyn against Minnesota either. Revenge game for historical D'Angelo Russell. I don't know. Give him a slight boost for that. Memphis is honestly a team that's still hard to project for me. Feels like they're playing slower. Feels like they're not playing very DFS friendly right now. Ja Morant should benefit at some point from having more control over the offense, but projection wise, I don't really know how you get there. Santi Aldama looks like an okay value, but it feels a little bit elevated to me. Zach Edey's playing more reliable minutes, but frankly, do I want 18% of him? I'm okay with it when the field's at 23, but I don't know that I need it. These guys versus Miami, I really don't want a ton of. Getting a lot of Aldama because of the price tag, but I'm not crazy about Memphis, even though they're coming up more for me. Jalen Wells also getting 9%, fields at 15. The puppet should be bitter and counter your takes due to recency bias. Okay, so we're giving the puppet motivation. I like giving him character motivation. I support that. Yeah, maybe he needs a segment. Maybe that's what he needs, like a recurring segment that I can get to. I would love to give him a short form video every day, but I can't imagine it would do terribly well view-wise. Have the puppet do splash plays, puppet nudes. He does show his puppet penis quite often. It doesn't exist. Miami, 110 implied points. A lot of Tyler Hero. I think this will flatten out for me, getting more Grimes. But still Hero looking like a decent play at that salary, $9K for him. Just shy of a 45-point projection for me. Bam Adebayo, okay. Not really crazy about Bam here. 5% for me, fields at 6. He just projects much lower for me than Tyler Hero does, accounting for the matchup and all that. Khalil Ware not coming up very much. Davion Mitchell not coming up very much. Pele Larson starting lately for Miami, but not very good. Kyle Anderson, I talked about earlier. I just don't love it. I'm getting these guys a lot. Hero I could always live with on any slate. I really don't want much else in Miami, including the seemingly chalky for me right now, Kyle Anderson. If I were managing my stuff a little bit more, instead of just taking the top 150, I would absolutely give myself a little bit less Kyle. And last game on the slate, we got Golden State here. Forget, do we have Q tags? Is Kuminga a Q tag again? I think I read that up top. Yeah, Kuminga Q tag. Gary Payton out is all we're looking for right now. If Kuminga's in, really doesn't look super playable to me here. The spot, Steph versus LeBron, you want to spin the narrative there. Steph Curry might push the motivation up a little bit more. Jimmy Butler in this game, nobody's going to see him coming either after Steph Curry just had the outlier. A scoring day versus Memphis, so maybe Jimmy Butler seizing something back today wouldn't be a crazy thing either. Either having a little bit of spite for LeBron in his heart either wouldn't be a shocker. But these guys here, not too terribly highly owned. Quentin Post is a value coming up a little bit. I think there's something to this game, though. Having the late night hammer with like a Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, and a LeBron or Luka feels appealing to me mentally. But, you are going to have to wait around, miss out on some good plays for a game. The only game today that goes off at 10 p.m. Everything else is going to be going by 7:30. So really no Q tags to watch out for too much. I don't think you have to worry about holding out late swap opportunities overall. Lakers, as we talked about in the beginning, getting more LeBron, less Luka Doncic. I think LeBron's been the better player overall with Luka, on the team, getting more usage for himself, more assist upside, whereas Luka's kind of sacrificing a little bit compared to his historical rates and his rates for this year. Both guys can hit in the spot, though, so I'm not going to poo-poo Luka too much. My son is named Luka, so I just have to say when I feel like I haven't gotten a lot of Luka DFS here for a man who's named his son after this guy. But that said, for Luka Doncic here, if you get a little bit more Luka, a little bit less LeBron, it'll be a logical time to do or thing to do. Jimmy time, look, I think it makes sense. I think that's one thing Utical's talked about before on some of the endgame syndicate streams where it's like sometimes people just miss that. If a guy's a terrible game last time out or sacrifices, another guy goes nuts. That second time out or the game after, sometimes things just correct back to normal a little bit or overcorrect even. And Jimmy Butler getting more shots up here, against the somewhat tough Lakers defense when everybody expects Steph Curry to kind of renew the Olympic vibes with him and LeBron, just putting up a bunch of shots, competing, whatever. I think there's something narratively to me with going to Jimmy Butler today, but projection-wise, it's hard to make the case. We're going to go to Unabated next, though, guys. And, of course, before we go to Unabated, you're going to need to learn a little bit more about their traditional NBA projections that are changing the game for the industry and winning people literally $60,000 if all they do is listen to what Unabated has to say in videos like this. Like this. Every day, just a fan of the team over there. They've been a great partner to me this year. Frankly, a lot of other people in the industry who's actually talked about it to my pal Neil Orfield over DM. The fact that they've propped up a lot of popular channels this year, myself, Davis Maddock, Neil, Badge Bros, with their partnerships. They do great things for the community, and they probably do great things for you if all you do is follow their data. And that data includes distributions of data, and that's graphs. That is a visualization here of graphs. People love graphs in the chat. Now you too can have graphs for yourself. As I try to log in here, it's always like me dismantling a bomb trying to log back into Unabated while the video goes. We're close. We're close. All right, I'm logged in. We're not all the way there. The bomb went off and exploded in my face. Unabated, a great tool, though, really. If you are just playing pick'ems out there, that's a fine thing to do. But if you want to get deep in the weeds with betting, place a lot more bets, you could be placing this many bets. So that's every bet, 30 minutes before tip-off, the 5% or higher ROI. You'd be up $60,000 if you placed all those bets, again, 30 minutes before tip-off, 5% or higher ROI. If you place all the bets and their projections come out every day at 4:30 Eastern, you'd be up another 50K or so. I think it might be like 55K at this point. So that's really what it takes. It takes just betting every day, putting down the units here. They're talking about $100 units on every bet. But even if you place less, you could be up $10,000 by following Unabated's data down to the number every single time. So check it out for yourself. Still deals going on the rest of the playoffs. You get the monthly pack, just 20% off as well. I'll link down below. Please do click that link and check them out. And really, if you want to do the legwork, just sign up for a bunch of books. Like if you're not embedded GM, go deposit there, go deposit on Bet Rivers, whatever the fuck you have in your state, Caesars, and just use their data and try to make the most of it because you can still make a run. All right. Co-founder, Fantasy. Was he a co-founder? I know he was there, but yes, Fantasy Labs, Underdog, Basketball Moms before that. He's really one of the sharpest guys in the space. Also very kind dude, but he's been heading up there. I think he's technically a managing director at Unabated now, but he's been heading up their NBA product. And look, I know from working with those guys, I work with companies, as I talked about on Lulz. I work with companies that I know won't lead you guys astray if I'm promoting their products. And like, if you do go in and do the work, I think you'll get the results. Unabated, Stokastic are two of those companies I would really give the cosign for, and especially for Unabated, getting to know them more this season. They're a great company, a lot of great people, and frankly, their customers as well, even sharper than I would say 99% of the communities you're going to find out there. So really do check it out. Unabated, the choice of DFS puppets. That's true. Though Puppet Lindquist did not want to do the ads for Unabated. He felt like a conflict with Stokastic, which I get. That's his character motivations for affiliate deals. You can see all the different conditional projections right now as well. Scotty Barnes, Haywood Highsmith Haywood Highsmith gets a projection set. That's pretty crazy. Jonathan Kuminga, Anthony Simons, Jalen Wilson gets alternate projections. That's also crazy. Gershon Yabusele. So these are the guys you can see the in or out version of things. And also we're not getting those teams and the stuff I show you on screen today because those guys aren't at the projection set right now unless you are paying for it. Kevin Porter Jr., over 10.5 points, looking good right now on DraftKings, 8.3% EV. Playable in the pick'em sites as well. We're getting about 5% EV. So Kevin Porter Jr. over, maybe a good way if you're playing Ryan Rollins to get some leverage against that. And Kevin Porter Jr. could hit that point total even if he only plays 10 minutes. So Kevin Porter Jr. over 10.5 points, looking good. Got to stop hovering over that. Santi Aldama over 11.5 points, minus 110 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a 7.5% EV. Not playable so much anywhere else. We do want a 5% or higher EV, or at least a rounded up 5% sim EV. So Santi Aldama only on DraftKings today over 11.5 points. Naz Reid under 12.5 points. Good on FanDuel at minus 106 odds. Good on DraftKings as well. Under 12.5 there at minus 110 odds. Not so good in the pick'em site. So Naz Reid, DraftKings and FanDuel only today. Take the under on 12.5 points for Naz Reid. Franz Wagner, 6.6% EV for over 23.5 points. Love that cosign here, given that I'll be playing some Franz Wagner for DFS today. Minus 104 odds on FanDuel look the best for Franz at 6.6% EV, and you probably wouldn't want to play that Franz over anywhere else, just not quite enough expected value on those plays. Rui Hachimura under 12.5 points, looking good on DraftKings at minus 130 odds, 6.4% EV. Same thing on there. The line's not quite as beneficial at under 11.5 on your pick'em sites. Luke Kennard under 6.5 points, best on DraftKings at minus 105 odds, 5.7% EV. Would not play Luke Kennard's under anywhere else, though. So really not even close to a grand slam here. We're just really one book looking good for all these bets. And Desmond Bain, I probably wouldn't take this. I won't recommend that one to you. 5% or higher is what we're looking for. Bales and Jennings. Actually, that was one thing I didn't talk about today in the Lulz show, but Bales running a Gambly too. Immediately after I was shutting down probably. But Bales, very sharp guy. I've known him since my Barstool days. He was friends with Smitty there, if you guys know that universe. And I did some podcasts with him before I even entered the DFS world, full time regularly. So I love Bales, but Gambly's a cool product. I like Gambly. I don't know how it's doing because those products are tough to make, as we talked about today on Lulz. Kevin Porter Jr. under 4 rebounds. Looking best on PrizePicks, 9.3% EV. Also playable on DraftKings, but not available on Underdog, not available on FanDuel. So Kevin Porter Jr., the under on rebounds, over on points, looking like good bets for him today. Paolo Banchero over 7.5 points, looking best on FanDuel at plus 100 odds, not playable anywhere else. So Paolo Banchero over 7.5 rebounds. Take that 8.7% EV on FanDuel at plus 100 odds. Luka Doncic over 7.5 rebounds, minus 138 odds on FanDuel look the best, getting you 8.4% EV. DraftKings, 6.6% EV on over 8.5 on there at plus 110 odds, but the FanDuel line looks the best. Lower line, but you are giving up some juice at minus 138 odds. Austin Reeves under 4.5 rebounds. DraftKings is the best line right now. Minus 105 odds. Get you about 7.3% EV. Playable on FanDuel as well. Not so much in the pick'em sites. Pick'em sites are tight today. So nice. But take that Ryan Rollins bet for under 4.5 rebounds. Gary Trent under 3.5 rebounds, popping in now, minus 175 odds. A lot of juice on that one. It's still plus EV for Gary Trent. This is probably the bet you would take if somebody were holding a gun to your head. Which bet should I place today? You still have a high EV despite a lot of juice going against you. That means that bet's probably pretty likely to hit at under 3.5 rebounds. So if you have like a bonus bet today, I'd consider playing the Gary Trent one. Paolo Banchero over 7.5 rebounds, 5.6% EV at FanDuel Sportsbooks, minus 106 odds. And once again, only playable on FanDuel. And Jackson Hayes under 4.5 rebounds, minus 105 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook, looking good for 5.3% EV. The line's been killed everywhere else. So Jackson Hayes only on DraftKings Sportsbook under 4.5 rebounds. Really, we've had some like soft days lately where it's been like a ton of high EV bets, especially on Underdog and PrizePicks. And today it's like the lines are really tight. Weird to see. Maybe because there's no MLB today. Like really, it's like the MLB slate's pretty weird. That's why I didn't have it a lot before lock show today. I think that's got to be it, but very, very odd. Austin Reeves over 4.5 rebounds. Here's one soft one on Underdog. 10% EV in your pick'ems on Underdog. And of course, if you're playing an Underdog, saw somebody today depositing with something with the name urinal in it. That's what it was. Use promo code SPLASH. Take advantage of this 10% EV on Austin Reeves over 4.5 assists. Of course, you get a free pick'em when you sign up with Underdog, promo code SPLASH. Also, a $1,000 deposit match. You want to play some pick'ems, some best ball, some battle royale DFS on there. You check out Underdog with that promo code SPLASH. But 10% EV right now for Austin Reeves. Playable as well on DraftKings and FanDuel. 5.3% EV for Austin Reeves over 4.5 assists today. Scottie Pippen Jr. There's no junior on his name here. Just regular old Scottie Pippen according to Unabated. But Scottie Pippen, 9.4% EV over 3.5 assists. Minus 135 odds on DraftKings Sportsbook. Seems like he's getting more minutes with the new coaching staff. I'm not really sure why. He's previously been really only in play when John Morant or Desmond Bane have been out. Now he's playing a little bit more. So 22-minute projection for Scottie Pippen today, and he's productive out there. I would take his over 3.5 assists on DraftKings and FanDuel today. Giannis over 6.5 assists, plus 100 odds on DraftKings, gets you 9.1% EV. Playable on FanDuel as well, where you get 7% EV for the over on assists for Giannis there. The DraftKings one at plus 100 is going to be your best bet. Over 6.5 assists for Giannis on DraftKings Sportsbook. Justin Champagnie under 1.5 assists. I don't love that because I think he gets good minutes today. Minus 145 odds on DraftKings, 7.8% EV. And again, you trust Unabaded's data over any personal takes you have. AJ Johnson over 4.5 assists, minus 105 odds on DraftKings, gets to 7.7% EV. Not playable anywhere else. Anthony Edwards under 4.5 assists, looking good on DraftKings. Playable on FanDuel as well, about 7.8% EV on DraftKings, though. Minus 105 odds for Anthony Edwards under 4.5 assists. And Jackson Hayes to get 1 assist today, over 0.5 assists. Looking good on your pick'em sites, and maybe not anymore. They just kill it. No, still available in the pick'em sites. This Gary Trent line just looks better. But Jackson Hayes over 0.5 assists, and Gary Trent also under 1.5 assists. Now looking good on DraftKings Sportsbook. PRA is last up. Cock hardening, full screen Underdog promos are the best. Thank you for that. Can't be a junior because he spells his name wrong. Oh, that's a good point. It is Scotty with the Y as opposed to the IE. I actually never even thought of that. That's kind of odd. But I guess that's like Bron, like Bronny being LeBron Jr. I guess it's his way of being unique. So that happens. Pippen's got another kid coming up too, right? I think. I know obviously LeBron does, but I think Pippen's got a kid who's like a prospect, I believe. I feel like I saw that on Twitter recently. Anyway, could just be making that up. Corey Joseph. 26.6% EV for you on FanDuel. It's a high EV line for FanDuel. Under 12.5 PRAs for Corey Joseph, who, as we know, if you've played DFS at all in the last couple of years, Corey Joseph mostly sucks. So Corey Joseph here, FanDuel minus 114 odds under 12.5 PRA is looking good. Pippen's got a lot of kids. Hey, good. I mean, more power to him if they all become pro players. That's the dream. I guess, well, to some extent. Sean Kemp, surprisingly, for a guy who had so many kids, was a great athlete. Granted, got pretty fat. Yeah, he should have had more kid athletes, I think, too. Luke Kennard, Antonio Cromartie. Boy, that guy's going to have some quarterbacks coming up in about 10 years. Luke Kennard, under 12.5 PRA is good on your pickup sites, but really good on Underdog. So once again, take that promo code Splash and Underdog, place this Luke Kennard pick'em as part of it. 15.3% EV for Luke Kennard, under 12.5 PRAs on there. Still playable on PrizePicks as well, where it's under 12 PRAs for Luke Kennard. Rui Hachimura under 17.5 PRAs, okay on DraftKings Sportsbook, 7.3% EV there, not so great anywhere else. Gary Trent under 17.5 PRAs, lots of EV on Gary Trent lines today with Unabaded's data. Minus 125 odds on DraftKings is the only bet you're going to want to take, though, for 5.6% EV. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, 5.1% EV on your pickup sites, not in your regular sportsbook for Contavious Caldwell-Pope under 13.5 PRAs. And the other ones you don't want to take, so that's it. Getting lots of great data unabated. You want to see these other guys who are Q tags right now prepare for plus EV bets, whether Anthony Simons is in or out. Kuminga, same thing. Scotty Barnes, same thing. It's good to hop over to unabated and use your conditional NBA projections to do it. In fact, the only product in the space that will do that for you. So check it out for yourself. Unabated, again, a great partner. Link down below. Just click over there, see what you like. And monthly packages in particular, 20% off with that promo code SPLASH and Unabated. Let's hop over to Stokastic, though. Let's see what they have for DFS sims today. Let me refresh this tab. All right. Let's build our 5,000 lineups on Stokastic. We'll have them compete 10,000 times, and you'll know the best sim DFS lineups according to their data. And of course, the big difference here with Stokastic compared to the sim exposures I showed you before, that was my projections overlaid in a Stokastic sim. This is going to be just Stokastic's data. It looks like the last time they updated was 12 p.m., so they've not taken Jordan Poole out, so some Wizards value going to be an unknown from this slate. But everything else you will see with Stokastic. And again, you could also get 15% off at Stokastic using this very tool here I show you on screen, the sim tool, their data, and their stuff keeps going throughout the playoffs as well. So just because the NBA season, regular season is ending soon, playoffs, that's the time I won 60 grand was in the playoffs, first round of the playoffs. Jason Tatum going nuts in the first round. So playoff DFS still in play for sure here on this channel and with Stokastic's data in particular. But let's put 35% to first, run the sim. I'm going to drink some water here. I feel like maybe the puppet should check in now or like I have to fill time. But then what would be the bitch? The puppet doing my ads? Hey, I'm back, guys. I've been doing a lot of content this week. I'll tell you what. I also got to learn how to move my mouth better instead of just my arms flailing wildly. But Spags, not really a professional puppeteer ventriloquist. You didn't even know the word at first, this fucking piece of shit behind me. Oh, but why are we back? I just become so self-disparaging whenever the puppet's here. Hey, there's some puppet for you. Show you my dick puppet. Puppetry of the penis. That's a real thing. That was popular for a while. I feel like when I was like a teen, like moms would go to watch these Australian guys who would bend their dicks up into various origami. It was called puppetry of the penis, though. I do recall that. Either the puppet or my asshole comments, pick your poison. Well, keep the poison out of your asshole is what I'd say. Carlos Boozer's kids, yeah, they're top-ranked kids, too. I forget their names, but yeah, the Boozer kids are good. Carlos Boozer still trotting out the painted-on hair, too, right? Because he's doing, like, TV spots now. It's weird to see guys that are, like, it's weird that every player who you grew up with now is, like, on TV or doing a podcast. The funniest one is that there's, like, a Theo Pinson podcast that NBA Central promotes because clearly they're paid to do it. But it's like maybe every NBA player, every professional athlete doesn't need to be in media. Like, I respect it. Like, we're all entitled to make our money, but it's like when you're really hard pushing a Theo Pinson podcast, I think maybe we pushed things a little bit too far, jumped the shark a little bit. And your top ROI lineups right now, according to Stokastic data, again, all their data, no input for me. Jamal Shed, number 1. Lonnie Walker, number 2. Pele Larson, number 3. So some players I'm not crazy about. Lonnie Walker I can live with. The other ones I'm not crazy about. Giannis, Tristan Vukovic, your thumbnail boy. Luka Doncic, Kyle Anderson, Orlando Robinson. So real stars and scrub kind of build here to get to Giannis and Luka together. I like some of the value here, but you're giving up a lot to get to the stars, and I think a lot of people will try that today. Jamal Shed, number 2 again. Lonnie Walker again. LeBron here instead of Luka. Giannis in this one. Giannis is, in fact, an all top 5. Wendell Carter at center. Pele Larson again. Kyle Anderson again. Donovan Clingan makes this one. So mid-tier center. Pele Larson, Kyle Anderson. Cheap center as well. Jamal Shed seems like a pretty obvious top ROI build right now for these lineups on Stokastic. Number 3 is Jared Butler. I really would have a hard time playing Butler at this point for Philadelphia. He just doesn't push his usage up at all. He's just not the player he's been historically. And in other spots, like they tell him, I think, not to shoot, would be my guess from watching enough games. But Jared Butler, Lonnie Walker, Denny Avdia, Giannis once again, Vukovic once again, Anthony Simons, Pele Larson once again, Kyle Anderson once again. So real obvious similarities here in these stochastic lineups, which hopefully your pattern recognition is strong enough to get there without me having to spell it out over and over again. We got Jamal Shed, Lonnie Walker, Kyle Kuzma, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Donovan Clingan, Shaden Sharp, Kyle Anderson yet again, and Khalil Ware. Double Kyles here. I'd rather have Kyle from South Park than either, but I get it. Jared Butler, Lonnie Walker, Pele Larson, Giannis, Tristan Vukovic again, Jamal Shed again, Jonathan Mobo, LeBron James again. I mean, really not sneaky builds at all, but maybe Stokastic will update their data to look different. Something I could say. Puppet gets better with a shameful commentary after I it's like wiping myself off the towel, wiping the jizz off of me. Carmelo's kid's the truth. He's the truth, but he's not as good as Boozer's kid. I think Boozer's kids are like have been number 1 in the class for a few years, if I'm knowing correctly, but I could be off. So your top ROI players according to Stokastic. Kyle Anderson, 1, 14% ROI for him. Lonnie Walker, number 2, a rounded up 14% for him. Jared Butler, like the longer term projection guys, I know it was a thing I debated with my pal Josh Engelman a lot on stream this year. People keep thinking Jared Butler's going to pop back. In reality, he's just not the same player in Philadelphia deliberately. All of his rates are down because they want the ball out of his hands. They don't want him to dominate possessions like he has in the past. So like, I still think it's a little bit trappy, but you know, look, I'll play Quentin Grimes, but I just don't think you're getting anything playing Jared Butler early at 5,700. Pele Larson, 5% ROI for him. So 4 guys, the positive ROI, even though we care more about the directional accuracy of the sim, is worth noting. These guys, Kyle Anderson, Walker, Butler, Larson, all do have positive numbers. And I really have to give Stokastic credit yesterday. Anthony Davis and there was one other one. One of you guys might remember in chat. There was another play where I was like, I don't know if I see it. And it was Anthony Davis who smashed yesterday. And one other player put up like 50. The sim was pushing really hard. So as I always say here, look, these are my opinions going through. Sometimes I'll get it right. In general, though, if you defer to Stokastic, sometimes it'll put you on shit that will win you all the money. And I think yesterday their sim, if like they crushed everything with the sim takes that they had here. But Donovan Clingan behind Pele Larson, Tristan Vukovic right behind him, Jonathan Mobo. So in order, your top ROI guys, according to Stokastic data, Kyle Anderson, Lonnie Walker, Jared Butler, Pele Larson, Donovan Clingan, Tristan Vukovic, and Jonathan Mobo. That's it. CJ, good shout by CJ here. It's Chet. Yeah, Chet went for 50, whatever. He was not coming up for me at all. So AD and Chet, Stokastic was all over it yesterday. Can't give him enough credit. And it happens enough. I mean, it happened with Tucker Kraft in the season for NFL. There's some times where the sim just gives you one guy and I'm like, I don't buy this. And there's also times too where like it gives me a guy and I'm like, what? Like, and that guy ends up tanking. But like, there's sometimes where it's like legit, this was the player you needed on a slate. I do think they nailed that yesterday. Nerfed your AD. The minutes were all still the same. He just went nuts. Yeah, he went back to like the first game he played for Dallas yesterday, where he was averaging like 2 fantasy points per minute. A little bit tough. Won the mini max did he last night? Hey, good job by you, Jamie. Yeah, look, I was against him, so you're fucking better than me on that. Giannis, your top exposed player right now, according to Stokastic. They want you to get him at 77% of your top 150 lineups. Fields at 57. So a really big stand on Giannis. I still think you want to spread your pay up options around a little bit more generally, but big cosign here for playing Giannis today, even as Super Chalk from Stokastic. Lonnie Walker, 69% fields at 20. That is a huge stand on Lonnie Walker. Almost 4x the field on Lonnie Walker today. As I mentioned, I think he's a pretty good value. I still think there may be like a Jacoby Walter. I still feel similarly good about his value. But Lonnie Walker here, really big stand by Stokastic. Kyle Anderson, 59%. I got to think that comes down a little bit here. He played 22 minutes on the dot yesterday. I get why they would give it to him again, but I just don't know the ceiling is high enough for Kyle Anderson. Maybe you just need his 3,600 at power forward enough. Sim loving Kyle Anderson, though. 45% leverage on him compared to the field's 14% ownership. Jamal Shed, 46% fields at 37. So not a huge stand, but Stokastic definitely in favor of Jamal Shed. Donovan Clingan, 2x the field on him, 38% fields at 19. So Stokastic loving Clingan versus a mostly centerless or like legit centerless Toronto with no Jakob Poeltl today. Tristan Vukovic, 38% fields at 24. So a big stand there, not quite 2x, but definitely in favor of taking more Tristan Vukovic. And LeBron James, 38% fields at 23. How do they feel about Luka? Luka closer to the field on. So they're not full fading Luka like I was in my 150 set I ran before the show, but definitely getting more LeBron here. I just think the price tag looks better for LeBron. So there it is. All right. Your highest leverage guys. Trey McBride, highest paid tight end in history. Good for him. He deserves it, man. I love him in best ball. Watch my NFL stream. I'm going to do a best ball draft on at Splash Play Pod, my other Splash Play channel tomorrow. Coming back there for my weekly drafts on the big board. But yeah, good for Trey McBride. A little bit crazy. He's a top paid tight end, but yeah, he's more due for a contract than Brock Bowers is after 1 year. Lonnie Walker. So huge leverage on him, as we talked about. You're getting 48% more than the field's 20% ownership. Kyle Anderson, 45% more than the field's 14% ownership. That scares me so much, but the sim is the sim. They love Kyle Anderson. Jared Butler, 25% more than the field. You're getting him in 34% of the top 150 lineups. Fields at only 9%. I will play Grimes at that 0% ownership. But Butler, certainly, the sim is the sim. Giannis, 20% more than the field, despite him being the chalkiest player on the slate and the most expensive one. They want you to get more. So that is an interesting thing to see here. That doesn't happen very often. I'll still probably go a little bit closer to the field on Giannis personally, but I get it. He's playing Philadelphia. They're not going to be able to stop him. It's just Giannis sometimes lets other guys get more shots in those situations. That's what I would worry about a little bit. Donovan Clingan, 19%. So 2x the field on Clingan, as we talked about. LeBron, 15% leverage. So not quite 2x for him, but definitely a big stand. And Pele Larson, you're getting almost 3x the field on. 14% leverage for him on about 8% ownership for the field. Negative leverage plays. They do not like Jacoby Walter. That surprises me here. I think especially if you get Barnes out, he'll look better. He'll look, I think, to me like a really strong play. With Barnes in, I could see being under by a little bit, but I don't love fading him this much. Denny Avdia, they're low on as well, negative 11%. I was low on him too. I would like to be close to the field on Denny Avdia. Jamison Battle, negative 11%. I'm okay with that. You're only getting 6% of Jamison Battle in your top 150. AJ Green, negative 8% leverage, barely getting him in your top 150. Jalen Wells, negative 7% leverage, only getting 9% ownership in the top 150. Banchero, negative 6% leverage, only getting 12% of him. Franz Wagner, negative 6% leverage. So, wow. All right, they're fading Banchero and Wagner. Interesting. Cole Anthony's probably not going to come up at all, I would guess. 1%. So you're with the Fields 1%. He's not playing enough minutes. They would rather play Anthony Black at this point. You would need somebody out for Cole Anthony, I think, to actually be a play, but follow your heart. So that's the Stokastic spin the slate. I'm going to give you guys my splash plays in one moment here to sum up the video. Before we do that, guys, one last call to arms. Please do subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. It all goes a long way for me here. Just one guy running an NBA / soon-to-be MLB channel and also an NFL channel. I do the best I can to do the work here. I also loved the time talking with Pete and Brick today on Lulz. You can hear more about me there. And if you want to get why I do what I do and why I try to do this channel and try to do this every day, that maybe can help you understand it more. And then maybe you'll come back and subscribe and feel like I've earned it more. Check out Underdog as well. Of course, your $1,000 in bonus cash. Link in the description with promo code SPLASH. It does go a long way to support the show here as we're trying to grow things here in 2025. Unabated as well, been a great partner. Check them out. You'd be up almost 60 grand in betting, potentially up 100 grand if you just listen to them 30 minutes before tip off every day. And when the projections load every day, all the bets 5% or higher ROIs. It can be that easy for you if you have the bankroll to do it. So check out Unabated, 20% off right now. Even if you're just building pick'ems, I'd get a monthly package and check it out here before the NBA season ends. And Stokastic as well, 15% off all their tools, all their data. They have that deal going with the cycle promo code for just today for $1. Once that ends, this is the best deal you're going to find. 15% off their monthly packages, their weekly packages. All of it's 15% off for you. And I get half the money you pay to Stokastic. So a win-win for both of us. Use that 15% off promo code SPLASH code at Stokastic right now. All right, my splash plays for the day, as we talked about, the value right now doesn't feel great to me. I still do think, though, Jacoby Walter would be one for me. I also think Lonnie Walker would be fine for me. So Walter and Walker, I think both decent values. Tristan Vukovic, I feel good about. Ryan Rollins, I also feel good about, though I would say if you're not playing Rollins, we mentioned earlier, boost Kevin Porter Jr. because now people are going to think Rollins is safe. In reality, in a single game sample size, he can get jerked around. Those would be the value guys I like the most. JT Thor's minimum salary guy, I'm okay with. Still getting good amount of Mobo, good amount of Jamal Shed. I just don't feel as well about those plays, and I'd rather you guys focus on the ones that I'm recommending more, which are Walter, Walker, Ryan Rollins, Vukovic. Besides that, pay up options for me on the slate. Let me just sort that one more time. I mean, Giannis is a very obvious one. I still think trying some mixes of the low-round guys, your Quentin Grimes is like just take guys that aren't Giannis for some amount of lineups. I would say cap your Giannis ownership at 50% and just mix in a bunch of the either pay up options like Luka and LeBron or a couple of the 9K guys whenever. And this has happened so many times this year. And like, obviously we're not talking about slates right after they happen. But like this has happened now, I think 3 or 4 times in the last month where there's been slates where it's so easy to get to Giannis, so easy to get to Jokic. That player ends up being 50, 60% owned. What ends up winning is a bunch of guys at 8K, a bunch of guys at 9K. We just use that money differently with the values instead. That's what I would try to do today, where it's this obvious that Giannis is going to be this highly owned. Stokastic Sim disagrees, but I don't know, man. When I see like Giannis being potentially 60% owned and Stokastic wants you to get fucking 80, I think you just try playing some lineups without Giannis and see how you do. But, follow your hearts, guys. Join the Discord, too. $5 if you want to just join the channel. Sync your YouTube to your Discord. You're good to go on there. It's a great community you're trying to build there. Of course, the only people I actually want to talk to. That's really it. But really, if you're in here, if you enjoy these shows, if you enjoy being in the chat as well on YouTube, you'd probably enjoy being in the Discord. So hop in there and you get unlimited access to me as much as you want. Do check it out. And gamble responsibly, guys, here, especially in these waning days of NBA season, even though it is always money time here, especially down the home stretch, hopefully, this NBA season. But I got no other streams today, so check out my LOL show on Peter Overzet's channel. I'll be on Stokastic this weekend, Saturday, doing a live before lock with my old pal Emac. But that's it for me for Stokastic for the week because we didn't have an MLB show today. But I'll be back tomorrow for NBA on this channel at 4 p.m. Be on my NFL channel at 11 a.m. doing basketball drafts. So check out one of those. And if not, enjoy your day, guys. Good luck, and I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for hanging out. Bye, guys.